Time travel might seem like science fiction, but in the streets of Kolkata, the past and present are colliding in ways that challenge everything we think we know about progress, power, and the ghosts of colonialism. That is the tale in Alexander and Aadriti.
You know, what makes this story so fascinating is how it uses this supernatural encounter to tackle some really heavy themes about gender equality and social change.
Let me set the scene here. We have Aadriti, this brilliant graduate student, wandering through old Kolkata after receiving what feels like a life-shattering rejection letter, and then something extraordinary happens in this crumbling colonial building with its overgrown garden.
It's almost like the setting itself is a character, this liminal space between past and present.
Well, that's exactly what makes this encounter so powerful. She meets the ghost of Alexander Duff, this Scottish missionary from the 1800s who founded one of India's most prestigious educational institutions. But here's what's fascinating. He doesn't just appear and announce himself, so he turns it into this intellectual game of deduction, challenging her to figure out who he is based on clues about his identity and the building's history. It's like, imagine suddenly finding yourself in a conversation with someone wearing 19th century clothes who seems to know more about you than they should.
That must create such an interesting power dynamic. I mean, here's this young Indian woman face to face with someone who represents both educational progress and colonial oppression.
And that's where things get really complex. You see, Alexander Duff was known for establishing modern English education in India, but, and this is crucial, his methods were deeply rooted in colonial ideology.
The way the story handles this tension must be fascinating, especially when we fast forward to see Aadriti return as a 60-year-old woman.
That's when the power dynamic completely shifts. The older Aadriti comes back with decades of lived experience and wisdom, ready to challenge Alexander's entire worldview. She's seen firsthand how colonial education systems have both empowered and limited women in Indian society.
Well, speaking of education and empowerment, how does the story address the ongoing impact of these colonial systems?
Do you know what's really interesting about that? Through their conversations, we see how certain colonial attitudes about women's education persist even today. Like the idea that education should prepare women for certain roles, while potentially limiting their access to others.
That reminds me of some recent studies showing how gender biases in education continue to impact career choices and opportunities, even in supposedly progressive institutions.
Exactly. And the story uses this supernatural encounter to explore these very real, contemporary issues. When young Aadriti first meets Alexander, she's dealing with personal crisis and systemic barriers that echo the very systems he helped put in place.
The way their relationship evolves must be pretty compelling, from that initial adversarial meeting to something more collaborative.
Yeah, and what's really powerful is how Alexander's character shows this capacity for growth and learning. Even as a ghost, he moves from this position of paternalistic authority to genuine listening and understanding.
That's such an important point about how real allyship works. It's not about leading or directing, but about creating space for others' voices.
And the story drives this home in such a powerful way at the end, when older Aadriti offers Alexander her phone. It's this incredible moment that bridges centuries of change and development.
So what do you think that gesture really represents in the broader context of the story?
Well, it's like she's saying, here's what we've built, here's how far we've come, despite the systems you put in place, not because of them. But it's also an invitation to continue the dialogue, to keep engaging with these difficult questions about progress and power.
That's such a nuanced way of handling these complex historical legacies.
Do you know what else strikes me? The way the story shows how some struggles persist across generations while others evolve. Like when young Aadriti first meets Alexander, she's dealing with immediate personal barriers, but when she returns as an older woman, she's addressing the broader historical context.
The story seems to suggest that while specific challenges might change, the fundamental struggles for equality and justice continue.
Exactly. And it raises these fascinating questions about progress. Are we really as far removed from these historical issues as we'd like to think? Or are we still dealing with their echoes in new forms?
That's particularly relevant given current debates about decolonizing education and institutions. That's such a crucial point for our current moment, when we're still wrestling with many of these same questions about equality, justice, and progress.
Looking ahead, I think this story challenges us to consider how our actions today will be viewed by future generations. What are the systems and structures we're putting in place now that might need to be questioned and reformed?
Well, that's certainly something to think about as we continue to work toward a more equitable future. It is also a much healthier and balanced approach than the crude, childish, knee-jerk reactions of the cancel culture brigades.
And maybe that's the real ghost story here. Not the supernatural encounter itself, but the way the past continues to haunt our present, shaping our institutions and attitudes in ways we're only beginning to understand. Alexander and Aadriti by Tannishtha Banerjee and P.T. Rose is available in paperback from lulu.com.
Contact Obi Manye for a creative discussion about your photographs becoming movie memories. Email info@thaifestival.com.
Bonjour, 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 bonjour.
At Photo to Film, we can transform your old still photos into amazing movies. Just take a look. At Photo to Film, our technology can bring any of your still images to life in captivating, unforgettable movie memories. We can even repair damaged photos to look brand new. Don't delay. Send your photos to us today. Email info@thaifestival.com.
You're a falling star. You're the getaway car. You're the line in the sand when I go too far. You're the swimming pool on an August day. And you're the perfect thing to say.
Contact Obi Manye for a creative discussion about your photographs becoming movie memories. Email info@thaifestival.com.